Mark brings us to this moment where Gethsemane is realized for the Savior. And this moment in Mark chapter 15, it is this moment, it is what takes place in this moment that delivers us from hell. This moment, this agony, this scream is what delivers all those who turn from their sin and trust in the Savior from hell. On the cross, Jesus experienced hell for us. He experienced hell for us, bearing God's wrath and eternal punishment. And because he did, heaven awaits all those who turn from their sin and trust in him. He screamed the scream of the damned for us. Listen, this scream should be our scream. This scream should not be his scream. He is holy. He is sinless. And yet, in this moment, he screams what Dr. Sproul describes as the scream of the damned, the most agonizing protest ever uttered on this planet. It burst forth in the moment of unparalleled pain. It is indeed the scream of the damned, and Dr. Sproul adds, for us. Oh, don't just contemplate this scream or overhear this scream. Recognize that this scream was for sinners like you and me. This is the scream of the damned. This is the scream that I deserve. I deserve, because of my sin, to experience eternal punishment for my sin. Weeping and gnashing of teeth, the scream as described here as I encounter the justified wrath of God against my sin. This scream should be my eternal scream. He takes upon himself my sin, the wrath I deserved for and against my sin. He screams the scream of the damned for me so that I might sing instead. He screams, and by God's grace, and because of his sacrifice on the cross for my sins, and because of this scream, I get to sing. He screams, and because of his scream, we get to sing. He screams, and we get to sing. He screams the scream of the damned, and I get to sing, worthy is the Lamb who was slain to receive glory and honor and power. He screams, and because of his scream, I am freed from the divine punishment I deserve eternally for my sin. And instead, because of his scream, I am assured of forgiveness of sin. I am assured that I will never be forsaken by the Father. And I am assured that by God's grace, I will see the face of the Father, and I will be, by God's grace, and because of this scream, singing throughout eternity. And for all who are present, and I assume, and I think rightly so, the majority who are present have turned from their sins and trusted in the Savior, that is the gift provided for you as well. You should have known this scream. This scream should have been your scream. But instead, he took upon himself the wrath that we deserve. He screamed the scream of the damned for us so that we might sing of his grace throughout all eternity. And the singing that will take place in eternity has broken into the present, and we've already gotten started. So that this evening, as we are singing, it is a wonderful, wonderful preview of the praise that we will be presenting him in eternity future. But the sound of singing is already underway. Listen, the more you understand this scream, the more you will be affected by this scream, and the more affections will be present in your heart when you sing to the Savior who took upon himself what we richly deserved, so that we might be forgiven. Because he screamed, we are forgiven. Because he screamed, we will never be forsaken. Because he screamed, we will see the face of God. Because he screamed, we can now sing.